Start the week this week with those wonderful words. The Jackrabbits now control their own destiny in the conference race.
Yes, they got two big wins this weekend, particularly against St. Cloud State, and widened the gap there, and we set up on top with the 11-4 record.
We talk about it every week. Taking care of yourself. Don't worry about anybody else, and that really came true this week.
I think it did. In the middle of the season, I really felt like we were putting too much attention on the race and forgot about that we had to play the games, and we've kind of switched over to that approach, and I think it's working out for us.
You have to feel like you're in a position now, if you win 2 of your last 3 games, you're in.
Well, that's what it looks like right now, and but that's still a formidable task with UND coming in and then making that road trip to USD in Morningside.
Well, it looks like the field is about complete for the Elite Eight. Things could shuffle around a little bit, but pretty much set as far as who's going to be in.
Yeah, it looks like it has sorted out that way in top 4, bottom 4, and then which teams that won't make it into the playoffs.
USD had a rough week this week. They went on the road 3 times and lost 3 times.
Yes, they did. All the things that they were doing to win the close games now, they're going the other way for them. Sometimes it evens out year after year, sometimes all in the same season, but they're picked up the 3 losses now and it dropped them out of the first place.
Speaking of scores, let's check all the scores from this week's action of the North Central Conference. With the 2 Jackrabbit wins this weekend, they have now hit the magical 20-win mark for the season, and you got to like it, Coach. You've got a game-and-a-half lead and a 2-game lead in the loss column.
Right, and to get to 20 wins is very important as far as your NCAA playoff hopes, and got a chance to pick up a couple more, hopefully, here before this is all over, and being in contention and control of our own destiny, as we mentioned, is a great position right now.
Well, as we're taping the show, we don't know what the regional rankings would be, but I would think the Jackrabbits would have to be at the top or certainly very near.
Well, I think we would get some attention back our way here after the wins that we've had over the last couple of weeks now, and against some very good teams.
And again, checking all the standings from the North Central Conference, you see the Jackrabbits on top with an 11-4 record. St. Cloud right behind with only 1 conference game left. Then it's University of South Dakota after their rough week, North Dakota, Mankato, and right down the line. The South Dakota State women were winners twice over the weekend. They defeated Mankato on Friday night, 69-63. Came back to beat St. Cloud on Saturday night, 83-62. Good weekend for Lisa Canagator. She led the Jackrabbits in scoring twice over the weekend.
Well, she's really coming along now, and I think the experience in the North Central is starting to show up for them. And Nancy's right in that tough position there with the 4 games remaining, get some wins here and for her regional playoff hopes.
Top 3 teams in the conference, North Dakota State, Augie, and North Dakota, rolling along, very difficult to beat.
Yes, they are, and so she's got Omaha, Nebraska up ahead of her, and needs to pick up some wins here over the next couple of weeks.
When we return, we'll have highlights of the Jackrabbits and Mankato State coming up next as the Jim Thorson Friday night's game with Mankato State. You were a half game out of the conference lead, but you knew this was going to be a very key weekend.
Right, and both these teams playing very well, coming off a number of wins, and look like they're putting things together themselves for the stretch run, and we're having a battle facing us.
I think Mankato won 4 straight coming into this game, if I'm not mistaken.
They did. You know, they've been real up and down, real streaky. They win 4, lose 4, and that, but they were coming off the 4 wins.
Kind of a slow start to this game. In fact, the first basket coming up here by Chris White hit a 3-pointer, long 3-pointer. This was 3 minutes into the game.
We were had 3 points on the board at 3 minutes, and I think 5 points at 5 minutes. It was a slow down kind of affair and a real slug it out.
And a great shot by Jeff Boer, who had an outstanding weekend.
Well, we like to see that out of our seniors. He really stepped forward and carried a load, sparked us defensively, and kept us going.
Here's a sequence of 9 straight points he scored early in this game.
Right inside with the layup, outside there with a 3-pointer, and take it down and up into traffic again for 2.
And Pete Leiferman got a little bit of foul trouble in this game, but here is a battle. I think this is his only basket of the game, but it's a good one.
Yes, it is. He was in there battling and just couldn't get on track, though, because of the foul troubles. And
Tom Wald had 11 points. Nathan Marks 10 points in the first half to lead Mankato. But then your defense started to pick things up a little bit. Ryan Notches with a steal and score.
We were real kind of spotty as far as the consistency of our effort there defensively, but we got that little spurt in the first half to keep us in the ball game. Chris White there with the tough jumper off the baseline drive.
Here's one of those where you do everything right, and the worst thing happens out of there. They end up with a wide open three-pointer.
We were wondering, bad omen there kind of thing, that we do everything to get the ball and then we can't quite get it.
Corey Vanderwettering seems to be playing more aggressively on the inside.
Well, particularly against Mankato there, the first time we'd really seen him put the ball on the floor, and he's driving around people and really taking it at the defense and hitting the layups and easy shots.
Mankato took a brief lead there right after halftime before the steal by who else but Jeff Boer in the dunk, and the Jacks jumped to a 41-34 lead after this pair of baskets.
Well, things were kind of even. All of a sudden, Boo gets the 2 steals like he has done for us in the past, and bingo, we're off and running. Troy Bauman here posting up, Tom Walden getting a little turnaround plus the free throw. Here's another move by Vanderwettering, gets a reverse layup off the drive on the baseline.
And when you start getting a little inside scoring, it really makes it a lot easier on the outside game.
It certainly does. Brad Timmerman here only had a couple baskets that night, but they were both big ones. Just as Mankato was trying to close the gap, he come back with the 2, and Boo again there with the breakaway layup.
And that was off a steal by Chris Counts, who had a very good weekend too.
And then we finished up here. Chris White carried the scoring load there as we finished up the half here, showing some inside moves, posting up, and here the coast-to-coast type layup.
He's got to be my vote for league MVP, without a doubt.
Well, I would certainly hope the other coaches would look at him as such. He's played such a very valuable role for us in our seasons the last 2 years.
So you got 1 down, 1 to go on the weekend. St. Cloud coming in. That looked to be a very important game anyway, because at that time they were only a loss behind in the loss column.
A very important game for St. Cloud as well as us, because if they would have come up with a win, that would have almost virtually assured them of a tie in the conference race, and so it's a great setup for the matchup here on Saturday night.
Talk about Chris White, a good candidate for league MVP. He got things rolling in the second game of the weekend for the Jackrabbits. This important one, White hitting a turnaround shot on the baseline.
Come off the low screen there and hit that turnaround on the baseline.
Here's a great pass from Dan Ward to Hog Sharnowski.
Dan Ward, he's very dangerous, leading the league in assists as a freshman. Whips that ball off the one hand. He can find those open people.
And Dean Kessler, and then Sharnowski with a couple of back-to-back baskets here for him. He has his shot blocked, but he stays with it here.
Right. They have a real strong inside game with Sharnowski and Kesky and Baudette, to name 3 of them. And
that inside game gave you some problems in that first half, didn't it?
They board so strongly and really stick with it, very intense inside.
Well, here's a diagram of how to get a 3-point basket. Give it back to me, and a long 3-pointer by White.
He's shooting that NBA 3-pointer there, but kept us in the ball game. Chris Counts there, taking the ball to the hole, and with the free throw here.
Tied the ball game up at 27-all. And then the drive by Boer will put the Jackrabbits ahead, but then Dean Kessler began to warm up a little bit.
Right, he decided to put one of his own NBA shots up there. He's put together an outstanding senior year, shooting the ball very well, high percentage.
How about that alley-oop that was meant to be a pass that ended up going in the basket? That's kind of the way the first half went for him. They're ahead by 5 at halftime.
Yeah, it was a little downer there as we went into the locker room, and yet you look at the score, the way we played, we felt like we're still in the ball game. We come right out with a quick hitter by Chris Counts there on the baseline. Chris White answers with some 2s, and we got the things rolling a little bit our way.
Pete Leiferman also with a rebound and score. He had 19 points, an outstanding offensive night for him. That tied the score at 44-all. But then Kessler again started nailing those 3s until you put Ryan Notches out on him.
Well, Ryan come in the ball game here, and after Brad Timmerman turnaround here, he really did the job defensively, and we shut Kessler out there for a few minutes, and it gave us a chance to get on track offensively, like this shot coming up by Ryan. Another a great effort here on the drive in the middle. He loses control of the ball on the foul and then gains it and be able to put it back in for 2. And Dan Ward gives him a hand of appreciation there.
Well, even the other players appreciate it when you make a great move.
But that put us up by 1 there, and like I said, kind of got things going our way. The intensity picked up. We were able to get back in control on the boards. Boer off the screen and roll here for the little 2 rolls it in.
We're talking about Chris Counts. He's going to come up making a steal here. He does a lot of things that don't always show up on the score sheet, doesn't he?
Well, real well-rounded performance, I thought, this weekend. Defensively, a lot of things he does, there are no statistics for, but they're very important to the game. He got some steals and some assists, and he scored on Saturday night. Great contribution. The
rebounding totals really turned around in the second half of this game.
Well, we actually out-rebounded them by 2 for the game, and yet we're quite a ways behind as far as the total game. But you know, we won the basketball game, and that's the final statistic that really counts.
And a little showtime here late in the game as Chris White with the steal. He'll take it coast to coast, and home it goes.
That's a coup d'etat, or whatever they call it there, and let her go, and we finally finish spread the offense, and Chris Counts goes on a drive and dishes the Boer for the layup to finish, and we come out with 80-69 win.
And the Jackrabbits win it 80-69, put themselves in good shape.
Well, it was a very important win, and for the players to keep believing when we were down most of the game and having a hard time there getting things on track, and it was great to come up with a win.
And once again, after the ball game, talked with assistant coach Scott Nagy about some of the adjustments you made in the second half of that St. Cloud game.
We had to get Kessler shut down because he was hurting us with the 3, and I think they did the second half. Ryan Notches really came out and put the D on Kessler. And that's what we won for, just the defense second half.
They were hitting their shots, and we weren't hitting too many of ours, you know, but before the game he said stick to the basics, and what we were doing was pretty much, you know, what we were expected to do, just that the shots weren't falling.
Player of the Week, and what a good week it was for Jeff Boer. Boer scored 20 points Friday, 15 on Saturday, a total of 35 for the weekend. He had 6 steals, 11 rebounds. The Frost Arena fans were doing the boo for Jeff Boer this weekend. And to cap it all off, he was named to the All-District 7 All-Academic team over the week. Jim and Rochelle Heirigs, both physical therapy majors here at State, both named to that team, and I know that means a lot to the coaching staff.
It does. The combination of the academics and the athletics, this true student athlete, and these two are certainly great examples of that.
Well, speaking of great examples of basketball, it was 100 years ago when James Naismith's boss told him, let's find something to do between football and baseball. Mari Larson takes a look at how the game of basketball has evolved and changed since then.
Naismith created an activity in which balls were thrown into peach baskets to score points. Since it was inconvenient for players to continuously disrupt the game to climb on ladders and retrieve the ball, the peach baskets were replaced by netted hoops. Soon the activity evolved into the competitive sport of basketball. The game was brought to the colleges shortly after its introduction by Naismith in 1891, and South Dakota State adopted its own basketball program around 1905. 2 members of the 1943 team, Sherwood Berg and Warren Miller, remember the earlier years of basketball. Both agree that many rules have changed a great deal over the years, creating a quicker-paced game.
One does involve the rules, that is the 10-second rule, the time in the lane, the three-point shot, doing away with the center jump, things of that nature certainly have changed and speeded up the game.
Miller believes that today's game of basketball is more competitive, partly because there is more choice among players.
One of the things that we noticed back then, as compared to now, we did not have the height in the players. And of course, girls basketball had preceded but had been dropped. And in boys basketball, it was real uncommon to see someone over about 6'3", 6'4" in height.
Miller explains that a lack of money due to the Depression led to greater support from the student body. Before the days of Frost Arena, Miller remembers the noise level at the barn being so intense he thought the roof would come off.
I would say then that there was probably a little more student loyalty. And don't misunderstand me, we've got a good turnout now of our students on campus. But percentage-wise, there weren't so many things for students to do, and games on the weekend primarily. They just turned out for a ball game because that's the activity that was going on during the week.
We have to remember in those days that the students did not leave the campus on the weekend. They just didn't have the cars. There was no need for parking lots. So the alternatives for what utilization of one's time was really what happened on campus.
Berg says that participation in the games was a release for students.
The tradition of the cowbell, the tradition of the barn, comes from the era of the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And I think that depicts and probably highlights the tremendous enthusiasm that you found among the student body in those decades.
We've got noise level in Frost Arena without any question. But I would still like to see that cowbell come back. That's tradition again, and that's pride.
Berg and Miller will celebrate their team's 50th reunion this summer. The team will be remembered for its NCC championship, all NCC performers, and Hall of Famer. However, they remember best the friendships they made. James Naismith would probably never have imagined the success of the YMCA activity he created. SDSU has taken part in this success, winning honors as all NCC performers and most valuable players, NCC basketball champions, and numerous individual statistical championships. Soon, the 1991-92 team will add its own success to the record books, kicking off the second century of basketball in grand style. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Hi, I'm Corey Van de Wettering.
And I'm Todd Bauman.
Next on the Jim Thorson Show is our point guard number 22, Troy Bauman.
And our version of Norman Ryan Natchez.
The
Profile, we're talking to a couple of sophomore guards, a Minnesotan and an Iowan. Ryan Natchez is a guard from Milford, Iowa. Troy Bauman, a sophomore guard from Holland, Minnesota. First of all, I got to ask you, Ryan, tonight had an outstanding defensive job against Dean Kessler. He was raining in three-point baskets all over the place. You came in and shut him down. How'd you do it?
It wasn't easy, that's for sure. I don't know, just kept him from penetrating inside the lane and forcing him to the baseline and outside. And I made sure that I wouldn't jump up every time he faked for the three-point shot. So that's what did it, I think.
You averaged almost 30 points a game in high school. Did you kind of feel like maybe your defense was overlooked a little bit when people were looking at the points you were scoring?
Yeah, I think so. I think, they were, but that kind of gets me in the flow of my offensive game, too. So that kind of helped me out.
Well, of course, Mr. Bauman is from quite an athletic family from Holland, Minnesota. You have a brother that plays football for South Dakota State. You got another little brother on the basketball team. I'm curious, did you ever think about maybe playing football in college?
Well, I got an offer to play football and basketball at Southwest, but Jackrabbits had such a great tradition, and we always came over here when they had the region tournament over here, and just, the fan support is unbelievable, and playing in front of a crowd like that is just, that's what basketball's all about, and that's pretty much the reason I came here.
There are a lot of stories about you guys and your softball team. What's your position? What's your key to that squad?
I play center field or outfield, and once in a while I'll catch to relieve our catcher sometimes, and it's a fun sport, quick game, and it's a lot of fun to play.
Ryan, I'm curious, as you're waiting to get in the ball game, you've been in every game, I think, since you've been here as a reserve. What do you think about? What do you watch on the basketball floor while you're waiting to get in?
Usually, well, right now this year, it's mainly, the player that Chris White's guarding, and because that's my role to come in and, when he's tired, come in and, play defense and offense, whatever. I just watch, how Chris is handling him and what we're doing as an offensive team, both defensively also.
Going to quickly ask you about your majors. You're an HPR major. Would you like to coach someday, Troy?
Yeah, that's the big thing. I'll be a coach someday, and probably end up being a farmer. I love to farm. The farm place is there's nothing like it. Living in town, I've never really, it's not been one of my favorite things, but farming is one of the things I want to do when I get out of college.
And Ryan is a physical therapy major. Still got a couple of years left maybe to look ahead at what you want to do.
I changed it to commercial economics.
Oh, okay.
So I'm planning on specializing in marketing and retail. hopefully in the clothing industry. So.
Very good. Thanks, guys, and best of continued luck through the rest of this season. Once again, thanks to Ryan Notches and to Troy Bauman. Well, they are possibly the future of South Dakota State basketball. Talking about the junior Jackrabbits, Ginger Thompson has their story.
Each home game, the SDSU Junior Jacks program treats young people to a night of entertainment as basketball royalty.
You get to go out at halftime sometimes and do tricks. I mean, you show that to the guy and you can go through free.
The Junior Jacks program, which began in 1977, honors Jackrabbit fans 13 and younger. Each member receives a T-shirt and is introduced at each game. The highlight of the evening, though, is meeting the coaches and players. And who's their favorite?
I like Chris White. He's mostly Chris White.
Not only do Junior Jacks meet the coaches and players, but they receive free admission to all games and special events such as the Tanya Crevier Basketball Clinic. The Junior Jacks program gives young people the opportunity to be a star for the evening and to rub shoulders with their role models. This is Ginger Thompson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
This is the final weekend of regular season play in the North Central Conference. Here's a look at who plays who this week. Well, Jim, last week of the regular season, 3 final games, North Dakota at home Tuesday, then at USD and Morningside to finish her off.
Right, if we can win 2 out of 3, you know, you think we'd be in great shape to get at least a share of the title, and particularly with the UND and USD still in contention.
Then it's on to the Elite 8 the following week.
Well, it looks like we'd be assured of a berth in there, and it's just a matter of where we finish and try to figure out who we have to play.
Hey, best of luck this week, Coach.
All right, thank you.
And a reminder, when you can't see the Jackrabbits play in person, you can listen to them on WNEX Radio from Yankton, South Dakota. For all of us.
Welcome to the Jim Thorson Show, brought to you by the City of Brookings and South Dakota State University Foundation, partners in progress. The Jackrabbit Club, be a part of the future. Daktronics of Brookings, call Daktronics toll-free for all your scoreboard needs. 3M of Brookings, pleased to be a part of the Brookings community. Perkins Family Restaurants. And TV Productions Incorporated, taking pride in producing the Jim Thorson Show and other quality video productions.
Hi again, and welcome to this week's show. My name is Tom Maxwell, and this has been an outstanding week for the South Dakota State basketball team, the fans, and for Jim. And congratulations, Jim. The 16th North Central Conference title for South Dakota State. You won it outright. It's your first. It's got to be a special feeling.
It certainly is. It's, you consider how difficult it is in the competition level and the coaching that is involved in this league. To have a conference championship of your own is a great, great feeling.
And there was a little drama involved in it, too. You had to take her down to the last night of the regular season.
Right. We went into that last week, and we had to win 1 out of 3 to assure ourselves of a tie, and then we got that win on Tuesday night and went into Friday, Saturday, and had to win 1 out of those 2, and we took her to the last minute, but that's our players kind of cardiac kids anyway, and a fitting finish.
Next up is the Elite 8. We're also starting to think about regionals now. At this time when we're taping, we don't know whether the Jackrabbits will host the regional, but there's a good chance.
Well, it is, but by winning the title outright in our record, we stand a good chance with our past record of hosting also.
And I know it's a great feeling, a monumental behind-the-scenes work that goes into all this. A lot of people don't see all that happens to build a conference winner.
Well, it doesn't. The recruiting involved by a number of people, and then the preparation of the players and the hard work that they've gone through all year round, basically, to prepare themselves for this opportunity, and they've certainly taken hold of it, and I'm very proud of their efforts.
It'll be fun looking at the highlights a little later on in the program. Let's check all the scores from this weekend's action, the last week of the regular season in the North Central Conference. So the Jackrabbits win the NCC outright with a 13-5 record, 22-5 overall. And Jim, for the rest of the field now, the Elite Eight tournament becomes the qualifying mechanism for the region. They have to win that tournament almost.
Right. That's what people have to remember, that to get into the NCAA regional tournament, they must win the conference tournament to get the automatic berth. We hope that our record will be good enough that we still have an outstanding chance to get in on that, but for the rest of the teams, it becomes very important.
Jackrabbits are ranked 8th in the country this week. The women are ranked 19th, and obviously for Nancy Niebuhr's team, being ranked nationally is quite a shot in the arm.
I think our young women have really played, great basketball up to this point. The North Central Conference right now is really divided into 3 sections. You've got the 3 upper-level teams who have been ranked from the 13th in the nation on up to 1st in the nation with North Dakota State, UND, and Augustana. And then you've got ourselves and Omaha who are battling for that 4th position in the region right now.
The Jackrabbit women beat the University of South Dakota on Friday night, but they suffered a tough loss at Morningside, 61-57 on Saturday, Jim.
Right, that's going to put a lot of importance on this upcoming weekend's games with the North Dakota schools. Nancy's going to have to come up with a win there to keep her playoff hopes alive.
North Dakota State continues to lead the women's standings with a 15-1 record. Nebraska-Omaha pulled the big surprise this week in the women's play.
Yes, they did. They went up to North Dakota and won a game. That's what kind of threw the clinker into Nancy's plans.
Coming up next, highlights from a great week for South Dakota State basketball. That's next as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
Discover Brookings and South Dakota State University, a community working together in research and development, joining technical innovation with educational excellence. Partners in progress for today and tomorrow. We're dedicated to bringing vision and strength to the birthplace of great business ideas. Look to Brookings and South Dakota State University, the spirit of success.
Jack is cooking Eggs Benedict for Mary on their honeymoon.
Nothing.
How romantic.
Where's the switch for the, ow?
Honey?
Pity they don't know about Perkins, for not only does Perkins serve a classic Eggs Benedict, but a host of other varieties as well. Eggs Benedict at Perkins.
Honey, isn't hollandaise sauce supposed to be yellow? Not that I mind. Green is very creative.
Jim, coming into the week, you knew you needed to win 2 out of 3 games to clinch the conference outright, which made the home game against North Dakota on Tuesday very important.
Very important game, and for standings and regional rankings, all those kinds of things. And then on top of that, we get our point guard injured in a physical education class and was unable to play.
And everybody knows North Dakota Sioux are a very good basketball team, and this guy's a pretty good player, Scott Gulseth.
He was outstanding. I've never seen a player so smooth in his jump shots all through the game.
Jeff Boer is really having a great final ending to his career.
He is finishing up very tough steals and scoring all phases of the game.
Ryan Notches with the steal, missed there, but what counts? The pass inside to Leiferman for the basket.
Staying alive there. We just kept hanging in there, and wouldn't let UND pull away from us there through most of the game.
And also, because of Bauman's injury, Chris White had to move to the point.
Key position change for us, and it hurts Chris as far as his scoring is concerned, that we can't get him on a wing and free him up a little easier to get the ball.
Just saw Chris Gardner scoring for North Dakota. Also, Corey Vanderwettering had a pretty good weekend.
Well, he's putting together, too, a great stretch drive here for us, scoring on the inside and rebounding and really showing things up inside there.
Chris White stepped up again. He had 24 points on this night, and really he just seems to get it done every week.
All right, and back to Gulseth again here to finish up the half. You're going one-on-one. He's too big and strong for anybody to stop.
Down by 5 points at halftime. Coming out to start the second half, Jeff Boer starts it with a 3.
Got her off to a good start there on the inbounds play. Goldseth counters right back, steps in from out of bounds, and hits a big three-pointer there.
That's a very difficult shot. Also, look at the dunk by Powell over Vanderwetter.
Broderick Powell is a junior college transfer and is an outstanding athlete. We saw him hit a three-pointer earlier, and there he run up and dunked over Vanderwetter. And Boer starts his act, though, now, and gets the steals and up dunks and really gets the crowd into the ball game here as we make a comeback.
Jacks are within 2 points at 63 to 61 at this stage, and things kind of jockeyed back and forth then for the next few minutes.
Yes, they did, and you know, we got down by 2 here off of that play, and got inside here. Ryan Natchez with a key pickup off the block shot and puts it in to tie the game.
And also, inside, Vanderwettering scores again.
Right, he comes in and ties the ball game up again. I think there are double-figure ties in this game that showed how close it was matched.
This was the play Chris White set up for himself, didn't he?
He called the play here, and we had it set up that we could get him the ball. He comes off, hits a big 3, and we take the lead here by 3 for the first time.
North Dakota will come back and take the lead. Who else but Goldseth again, 29 points on the night. And then this really the key turning point of the game right here.
Well, I think it was minute 24 to go. UND up by 1 and with the ball, and Marcus Cody throws a erroneous pass here to Chris White, gets it and comes down and gets fouled and scores. And we finish up with our seniors here. They each stepped up to the line and made some free throws along with Pete Leiperman. That was our scoring to the end, and we didn't allow UND to score a field goal the rest of the way until Goldseth hit a final 3, and we got the win.
So with that win, you clinched at least a tie for the conference crown, knowing that you had to go to the University of South Dakota, and they've had a phenomenal year, and to Morningside, needing to win 1 to clinch it outright.
Well, when this schedule came out a year ago, I figured this would be it. The USD I knew would be in the hunt for things, and we thought Morningside would hit a great team coming back and would be there too, and I just had a feeling that it would come down to this weekend.
The Dakota Dome could be a tough place to play too. The basket kind of hangs out from nowhere, and it can be a little bit on the dark side in there, but Chris White came out shooting well again, hit a three-pointer to start with.
Right, and then Ryan Williams, a little kick pass there out for a 3, and that's kind of how the game went there. It's one of those deals where everything falls for the other team, way it seems. We're hanging close, though, throughout the game. Pete Leiperman, a little tiptoe into the middle there for a 2. And typical of this game, I think, is that USD really spread the court, and was shown here by the backdoor play and back screen for Tiranas. We got a little antsy defensively and overplaying, and they backdoored us in for a number of shots.
Now, you played some zone, which worked pretty well for you in the game, too.
Yes, we did. We went to the zone defense and held them off for about 11 possessions there over about an 8-minute span of time. They only scored 4 points, and we came back with some decent scoring ourselves. We just could not pull away from them.
And Brennigan here will miss the 3, but the rebound by Keith Finley got the tip in. That gave the Coyotes a 29-25 halftime lead.
Right, that was a big tip in for him. He only played about a minute of the game, but he did get in there, and that was a big basket.
Chris White starts the second half off on a fast break, and then Bauman came back and played on Friday night.
Yeah, he did, and that helps our depth in that. He still isn't up to full speed, but it certainly helps to have him in the lineup.
Chris White with a little showtime there off the steal and the jam. And what's the great pass? Counts inside to Mitch Lane. Jacks took their only lead of the game, right? 34-31.
That first 3-4 minutes of that second half, we got out and played the way we wanted to and put the pressure on, but still, we could not pull away from them. Great credit to USD.
And Randy Rosenquist is going to get the dunk off the Jackrabbit press there. That's the kind of chance I guess you take.
We had put the pressure on here, and we're getting some action out of it, but this also typified the second half. They are able to come out with a big play.
And they got some pretty good leads on you and made it difficult to make a good run on them.
They went up by 9 points, I think, 4 times in that second half. We made this final run here. Chris White steps over there and I think cut the lead to 4 off that 3-point shot, but they kept countering with the free throws. Mitch Lane with the miss there, and Jeff Boer came in and hit about 4 3-pointers there down the stretch.
He led you with 18 points on that night. They held Chris White to 14, though.
Right. Again, the style of defense they were playing and having him running at the point through most of the game made it very difficult to get him in the scoring position.
So that means you lose to USD 64-61. You need a win on Saturday night at Morningside to clinch the conference outright. Also, on a tiebreaker system, if the conference ends up tied, USD would get the 1 seed in the Elite Eight and could possibly host the region. So a lot of things on the line, weren't there?
Well, no sweat, you know.
Yeah,
It's,
no problem.
for these kids, the cardiac kids, the second half comebacks, and I guess it was fitting that we take it right down to the wire.
Jackrabbit fans are going to like this. Coming up next, highlights of the Jacks against Morningside with the North Central Conference crown on the line. That comes up next.
No matter what sport or level of play, you can count on Daktronics scoreboards. Daktronics is an acknowledged world leader in scoring and timing systems for every kind of sport at every level of competition. At thousands of high schools and recreational facilities, Daktronics keeps the score. At 800 colleges in the United States, Daktronics keeps the score. Professional sports facilities and international events count on Daktronics. Call Daktronics today for more information on America's best scoreboards.
TV Productions is proud to produce The Jim Thorson Show. In addition to our broadcast programs such as this one, TV Productions produces television commercials for broadcast and cable, as well as video presentations for business and industry throughout the world. Our corporate image, product promotion, and other informational videos have won dozens of state, national, and international awards. Put your video production project on our shoulders. Contact TV Productions, Brookings, South Dakota.
Experience academic excellence and a personal atmosphere. South Dakota State is a mid-sized university that offers enormous academic, cultural, social, and recreational opportunities. Choose from a large selection of diverse courses and enjoy the city's parks and recreation areas. Industry thrives in Brookings, and local businesses often provide students with part-time work that matches interests. Visit our campus. The friendly atmosphere of the university and the Brookings community will quickly make you feel at home.
Well, Jim, I guess we've set the stage for this game pretty well. There was a lot on the line in this one.
Yes, it was, and go into Alley Gymnasium down there in Sioux City, Iowa to play the big one.
George Alley Gym, here it is, and here is Jeff Boer off the pass from Chris White. Those two combined on a lot of good things on this night.
They did. They got connected on that fast break a lot. Chris White off the wing there for 2 on the shuffle cut.
And also, Chris White picked up a second foul there early in the game, and with Bauman hurting again, that kind of hurts your depth at guard.
Well, it did, or it tested out our depth anyway, and Shannon Dana came in and really did a credible job for us.
Freshman Mitch Lane, who we'll meet a little bit later, scores off the screen. The Jackrabbits, he had 8 rebounds as well as 9 points on that night.
He's put together a good stretch drive for us here, too. He's scoring and really rebounding the ball well and playing the defense, all those things we like to see.
I know you mentioned, too, that your rebounding was very, very good on this night. We just saw Pete Leiferman rebounded score.
Well, Morningside, I believe, is the top rebounding team in the conference, and we ended up rebounding by 10, and I think it's just indicative of the movement that we had and the intensity and concentration.
Ryan Notches from nearby Milford, Iowa, scored there, and now watch Corey Vanderwittering in the war inside. Out goes one.
This is pinball.
And it was a 40-38 Jackrabbit lead at halftime. Then to come out to start the second half, Chris Counts with the steal on the inbounds and will feed Boer for the basket.
Great overplay there, pressuring on the inbounds, and Jeff Boer there to wipe up and clean up the action.
Then we don't talk enough about the bench bunch, too, again, and the great role they played this week, too.
Right, Brad Timmerman right there with a little baseline jumper. And here he had a great outlet, and this is a classic 2-on-1 situation between White and Boer, just like the book says.
And they do it one more time, and this time White will keep it and get the basket.
And then Bauman comes through. You can see a little gimpy on that leg yet, but he got the great breakaway layup there.
And then Ryan Notches long range for 3. Doug Deers had a great night for the Chiefs. He scored 26-16 in the first half.
16 in the first half, 10 from the free throw line, and really kind of kept them in the game. And this shot coming up right here, another 3-pointer by him, I think cut the lead to 10, but that was as close as Morningside was able to get that second half.
But then Boer comes back with 3 of his 14 points. He also had 3 steals on this night.
Yeah, he had really put the steals together, and we talked about those 2 big steals at UND.
And here's a rebound basket coming up by Jason Seaman of the Chiefs as they were trying to hang in there. But again, look at the steal by Boer. Great anticipation. There's nobody better in the league at that than he is.
Well, that's what you need, and he just come up with a big play, whether it's an offensive or defensive play, like this rebound by Pete Leiferman here. We just seem to be able to step up and get the job done.
And the Jackrabbits were on their way to an 86-73 win. The North Central Conference title on the line. And again, just one more time for old time's sakes, Brewer and White, the seniors will combine on a basket, and there's the final score.
Final 86-73, and we got the job done. And very, very happy for the players and the fans of South Dakota State, everything there to put another championship in our coffer here.
Well, I know that you feel very good about it. And also, we talked to the players after the game. Obviously, they're delighted also to win the North Central Conference title.
It was a good feeling, you know, all the hard work paid off. When we started in September until now, best feeling in the world, you know, to be conference champs. You know, we waited long for this.
This is everything you've worked for all year. This is everything you dreamed of when you were a little kid, you know, going and playing college basketball. You know, all you could ask for is a conference championship.
Oh, we feel great. Everybody did their job. You know, everybody on the team contributed. And you can't help but love it. Really great feeling. You can't really describe it.
This is the championship in the 90s. South Dakota State's had a conference championship in basketball in every decade except the 30s. And nobody else has been able to do that in the conference. We're pretty tickled. We're proud the way our kids behaved. We're proud the way they played hard. And Coach Thorson and his staff, they deserve every bit of the victory celebration here tonight.
Well, in a big week like this, who are you going to pick as the 3M Player of the Week? The answer is?
We're going to go with the whole team. It was a team effort from the start, and they got the job done, and we're going to honor them all.
And the team obviously goes through everything during the season. There's ups and downs, and this is one certainly to cherish.
Yes, it is, and we talked about how everyone has contributed, and I think you go back, whether it's practice or the actual games, they got the job done, and we're very proud of them.
There they are, folks, the North Central Conference regular season champions.
Hi, I'm Jay Parker, Athletic Business Manager. Coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show is a look at the people behind the scenes of Jackrabbit basketball.
We'd like to recognize the people who work behind the scenes to help make the Jackrabbit basketball program a success. Mari Larson introduces us to those folks right now.
The coaches, staff, and players spend hours at practice and are ready for the big game. While they go through the groundwork for the night's game, others are busy with the numerous jobs that must be done before the Jackrabbits can even take to the court. This preparation begins around 4:30 in the afternoon. Maintenance supervisor Bill Lindsay makes sure that the bleachers are pulled out, the score table and turnstiles are set up, along with everything else necessary to begin the game. He spends 2 to 4 hours at work before and after each game and can now say he holds his own record.
This year is one of the first years I haven't worked for all the ball games. And I've been here for about 21 years, and I've only missed 2 ball games in those 21 years.
And the job often goes far beyond the call of duty.
I think probably the most unusual thing we ever had here about 7, 8 years ago, somebody turned a real pig loose on her football field. We had to chase it down and catch him in a couple of wild ducks. That all happened when we played the Augie game.
Meanwhile, the ticket office opens at 5 p.m. Ticket and promotions manager Greg Christie arranges the ticket sales, including passes for recruits and over-the-counter sales. He also briefs his staff on the various tickets to be sold, thus making it difficult for people to present fake IDs or tickets.
Occasionally, people will, you'd be surprised, will sometimes try about anything to get into a game. But our ticket sellers in the booth and those people that are watching for tickets as well are pretty in tune. They've done this for a while and they know what to look for, and they know. So we haven't had a whole lot of problem with that sort of thing, but it's something that we're always watchful for.
But fans don't need to worry about SDSU overselling tickets.
And that's our primary reason for not selling general admission in advance. We have, on one occasion this year, sold general admission in advance, but as a general rule, we don't sell in advance, and it's because we have a commitment to our college students to get in with their student IDs, and we never know exactly how many college students are going to be coming on any given night. So that's our reason for not selling general admission in advance.
While ticket sales and maintenance are tended to, equipment managers Tim DeWitt and Carol Van Hoppen ensure that all athletic teams have what they need. The equipment managers are also responsible for preparing the officials and visiting teams. DeWitt says he spends additional hours on game night, but likes the work.
I enjoy it very much, and it's time-consuming, and we have to keep doing things over and over again to get them right, but I enjoy it very much, and it's a lot of fun working at the university.
The work of these 3 people and many others behind the scenes give the fans and teams the most comfortable and enjoyable evening possible. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Hi, I'm Ryan Natchez.
And I'm Brad Timmerman.
Coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show are a couple of total freshmen.
Mitchell Lois Lane
and Todd Jammer Bauman.
Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University. We're partners in a community where the land meets the sky. A land of creative vision and spirit. Come to Brookings and South Dakota State, where heritage and progress walk hand in hand. We work together to make our home someplace special. Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University for the lifestyle you want to live.
The SDSU Foundation has been serving South Dakota State University with pride and purpose since 1945. Along with the SDSU Alumni Association, we are dedicated to serving the university. The SDSU Foundation seeks financial support to provide scholarships, professorships, and other important programs. Together, the Foundation, the Alumni Association, the community, and the university enhance the quality of life for a growing number of people. Contact the Foundation to learn how you may serve others by being a part of this important work.
On this week's Jackrabbit Profile, we're talking to a couple of freshman guards who both had outstanding high school careers, now obviously in their first year with South Dakota State. On my left, Mitch Lane, guard from Cherry Creek High School in Englewood, Colorado, and Todd Bauman from Holland, Minnesota, and Russell Tyler Ruthven High School. Now, guys, congratulations on great high school careers, and I got to ask you how it feels to come to college and be a member of a conference-winning basketball team the first year, Mitch.
Basically, it's great. You know, I remember after the Morningside game, Chris White said, take it as a freshman, you know. Make sure you taste it while you can. It's tough to do how many freshmen, you know. Not too many of them get a conference championship their freshman year.
Yeah, how about you?
Well, it feels great, you know. Used to being a winner all through high school career, and you come here and the same thing happens. Can't ask for much more.
Mitch, I understand that you almost didn't come to South Dakota State. You were very close to going to Colorado State after your career in high school?
Got recruited by Colorado State by head coach Boyd Grant, and before my state tournament, he said, don't worry about where you're going to school. You know, we want you to come here. And that week, I didn't hear from anyone, and I saw him the news he resigned. And after that, I was just looking for a place to play and somewhere engineering. And as easy as that.
This is the second straight week we have had a Bauman on the show. Last week we talked to Troy. This week is Todd. Of course, two older brothers. Brother's a quarterback on the football team, and you have a brother on the basketball team. Was it a given you were going to come to college here?
No, it wasn't a given, but it helped a lot. They talked to me a lot about school here and what it was like and what it was like to play in front of great fan support and stuff like that. And it really came true this year, well, for the first 5 games anyway.
Which I'm curious, what did you learn the first year? What was the big difference between high school and college?
Basically the intensity, you know, level of play. There's not any time to relax, and you gotta step up all the time. You know, there's not ever a dull moment. You know, it's always pick it up.
You were also a quarterback at the Minnesota All-Star high school game. You're an All-American shortstop. What's your favorite sport? Tell me the truth.
Basketball.
That's why you decided to play it here?
Yeah. It's always exciting, I guess. Fans are right on top of you, and there's always something happening, not a dull moment ever.
South Dakota State has a very well-recognized engineering school, and you're an engineering major, correct?
Yep. I want to study industrial. Right now, it's a mechanical major with an industrial minor, and, you know, I don't know if I'll change and stay with it or not, but that's what I'm thinking right now.
Your brother told me he wanted to run the farm last week on the program. That's not in your future, do I take it?
Not right now, no. I probably figure on doing something different than farming.
Well, congratulations on great high school careers, as we say, and congratulations on the conference championship, and the best of luck down the road in the future with the Jackrabbits. Thank you very much, Mitch Lane and Todd Bauman. Of course, coming up this week, the big NCC Elite 8 will be held at the Sioux Falls Arena on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Here are your first-round pairings at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. It'll be the University of North Dakota taking on Mankato. At 3 o'clock, UNO plays St. Cloud. Then the evening games will feature the South Dakota schools with South Dakota State against Morningside at 7. And the finale of the first day will have USD against Northern Colorado. We do want to remind you that State is in the same bracket as North Dakota and Mankato. The semifinals will be played on Friday night, and the finals of the NCC Elite 8 come up on Saturday night once again at the Sioux Falls Arena. This reminder, the WNAX radio in Yankton, which carries the Jackrabbit games, will carry all games of the Elite Eight this week.
Right, they'll be able to listen to Joe Van Goor on 570 there and pick up all the games.
It's also not too soon to be thinking about summer camps. South Dakota State has summer camps and everything from water aerobics to wrestling.
I think we have an excellent camp program here and invite the people to write in and get information on it and hope to see them this summer.
Congratulations on the regular season crown. Best of luck here in the postseason.
Thank you, Tom. It's a great pleasure.
All right, we'll see you all again next week with highlights of the Elite Eight here on the Jim Thorson Show.
Welcome to the Jim Thorson Show, brought to you by the City of Brookings and South Dakota State University Foundation, partners in progress.
The Jim Thorson Show. Jim and I this week are fighting the urge to break out in a chorus of happy days are here again because it's national tournament time. Jim, your team won the NCAA Division II North Central Regional Tournament this weekend at Brookings. Congratulations.
Well, thanks, Tom. It's a great feeling. I'm very proud of the players, how they stepped up and we won that regional tournament and got a chance to go to Springfield and play with the big boys.
This is the 6th time in the history of the basketball program. The last time was in 1985. You were also around then, too.
Well, I was in the stands watching at that time, but, you know, a great tradition here at South Dakota State, and it's very proud that I could be a part of it with this year's team.
Were you a little bit concerned after the conference tournament where the Jackrabbits got 4th place and then the regional included 2 teams that had beaten you? A little concerned about that coming in?
Well, a lot of concern. You know, we weren't playing real well. We had really hit somewhat the bottom as far as our movement and things. So having to turn right around and play St. Cloud again and then knowing UND, a very strong physical ball club, was in the tournament as well as the fine team from Denver, had us very concerned.
You try to mold a chemistry of a team to come together at the right time, and I think that carried over into the regionals. The old team was back, certainly, in the championship game.
Right, and I got to believe that the experience from a year ago, playing in a regional tournament, having been there one time and came very close, certainly came into play this time also.
Well, let's check the scores from all the games of the regionals this weekend. In the first game, it was Denver University out of the Colorado Athletic Conference against the University of North Dakota. Maybe a little bit of a surprise because Denver is kind of an unknown quantity. North Dakota, the defending champion.
Right. They were, Denver, the 2 big kids inside, you know, were too strong for UND. I know I talked to UND coaches. They'd certainly like to play that game over and do some things different, but Denver did prevail.
And once again, in the second game, you'll see highlights of this coming up. South Dakota State defeated St. Cloud. Quite the barn burner that night.
Well, it was. St. Cloud playing very well. They really peaked at the right time. Dean Kessler was tough. Came out that second half very hot, and we had everything we could handle and hung on for the win there in overtime.
Then in the third place game, the University of North Dakota came back strong, won 80-60 over St. Cloud. Not really the same St. Cloud team showed up on Saturday night.
No, I'm sure they had an emotional letdown. It would be one thing you could point at after the tough loss to us the night before, and then UND had to come out and try to prove themselves back again, and with a 20-point win, they did that.
And again, the championship game, you'll see highlights of that coming up a little bit later. 87-57. Was that in your wildest dreams, to beat a team that was 25-5 coming in, to beat them by 30 points?
No, it wasn't. I kept having nightmares of those big kids, Lively and Sun, just shooting over the top with time after time, and you know, those kinds of things. But our players really came to play. I mean, that's as loose and as fine a play as we've had all season.
Now it's on to the national tournament for South Dakota State, the National Division II tournament in the home of basketball's Hall of Fame out in Springfield, Massachusetts. And the first round pairing for South Dakota State, not the easiest draw in the world. California of Pennsylvania, a team 30-1. Top-ranked in the country in the last poll.
Last poll, top-ranked team. It's just going to be fun, though, to go out there and play and test ourselves out on a national basis.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. And that, again, there's a week off in between, and you explain to me why that is.
The Division II finals are tied in with the NCAA regionals, and I believe that the live telecast of the championship game will be between 2 of the NCAA Division I regional finals.
Okay. The South Dakota State University women were also involved in regional play this weekend, and they had a tall order. They had to go to North Dakota State to play the top-ranked team in NCAA Division II women, and defending national champions, North Dakota State.
Well, Nancy got her team into the regionals again, and I think that's an outstanding achievement for them. this year. And, they went up there with high hopes, but North Dakota State was really playing tough this weekend. Nobody was touching them.
They look to be primed to defend their national crown.
I would say it would take a major upset to knock them out at this point.
Once again, the scores from this weekend in the women's North Central Regional in Fargo, North Dakota. Augustana wins the first night, and North Dakota State defeating South Dakota State. And then North Dakota State, surprisingly, big score over Augustana's women, who had only lost a handful of games all year, too.
Right. And Augustana had beaten North Dakota State just the weekend before in the last game of the conference.
Coming up next, we'll have highlights of the NCAA Division II North Central Regional, South Dakota State against...
Isn't too bad either. More game highlights are coming up next on the Jim Thorson Show. Don't go away.
Social, cultural, and recreational opportunities. Choose from over 2,500 courses and join any of the 170 organizations and clubs. Brookings is ideal for those who love the outdoors. Delight in the 14 city parks and recreation areas, including swimming pools, tennis courts, golf courses, and an ice arena.
Visit our campus and community. We think you'll like what you see.
Friday night, South Dakota State hosted St. Cloud in their first game of the NCAA Division II Regional Tournament. Nice to be at home, playing against a team that has been on a roll, as we talked about before.
Yeah, they really came together at the end of the season. They were playing very well. They were peaking at the right time.
Once again, to Frost Arena we go for the highlights of that one. Started off with Troy Bauman with a nice drive. I know he'd been hurt a little bit the last couple of weeks, but he's 100% now.
Yeah, he looked good this weekend. That's good to see. I think he's back full strength. Really helps our half-court defense.
Hog Sarnowski, one of the better big men, runs the floor very well, scores there at South Dakota State with a very consistent Chris White driving and scoring. And here is St. Cloud's three-point scorer, Dean Kessler.
Dean is so tough, boy. He's tough mentally, too, because he knows everybody's going to be defending him tough, and he comes off those screens and really lights him up.
Coming off the steal, what's the great pass? Dan Ward and Chris White going to be called for goaltending. It looked like a spectacular play upon a review.
Well, in our opinion, yeah, he was up there and got the good block, but unfortunately the stripes called her different.
This one was very close all the way through. Jeff Boer, who has done this many, many times, a career steal leader at South Dakota State with a steal and the jam.
I know Butch Raymond had commented that he voted for Boer as a defensive player of the year in the conference just because of that reason. He comes up with a big defensive play.
Ahead by 3 points at halftime, but the start of the second half, Kessler gets hot.
Well, he just lit him up. They really set the screens for him, and he had nothing but net and scored about 8 points in a row there and put him up, and things weren't looking so good.
In fact, it was 48-40. You're down by 8 points with 13 minutes to go. Corey Vanderwettering perhaps put together his best weekend of the season. He's playing sensational. Just scored right there.
Rebounding and scoring and defensively, all the things we need as a big post player. He's really getting it done.
Jackrabbits were coming back, but St. Cloud was hanging in there. What's the strength on the inside move by Sarnowski, who had 18 points?
Well, he's so improved over a year ago. Of course, he got hurt a year ago and came back and is really doing a great job for him.
56 all with 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Set up a great stretch run. What's a left-handed shot by Chris White off the drive?
He comes off that screen and he's able to turn the corner, and then when he gets that corner turned, just like here, he's either going to make the great pass or score for us.
Numerous times he did that down the stretch, setting up other players, but then Dan Ward also got hot.
Yeah, we had made up our mind we were just going to let him go because he likes the assists and the passes, and here he little handoff fumble with him. Jeff Boer on the spot again, and it gets the crowd into the game and gets the momentum going our way.
Play of the game right there, Jeff Boer with a huge three-point basket, and then St. Cloud inbounding the ball behind, and you said that you just put that play in?
Well, we thought that we have a chance to what we call deny that inbounds play, and Troy Bauman there come up with the steal and got fouled, hit the free throws. We thought we had our 3 points. We had the big guy taking the last second shot, and he steps out there and drains it. He was unconscious.
Chris Baudette made that with just seconds to go in the game. Then he comes out, scores the first basket in overtime. But Chris White again, we're talking about the dish to Vanderwettering for the slam. And then the other basket coming up here, knocked around and finally grabbed and put back in the basket by Timmerman.
Timmerman had a great weekend also. He's really started to come on these last 3 weeks. He's scoring, 4 or 6 points a game, rebounding, playing strong.
And the offensive foul, another huge call in the game. Sharonowski called for a charge. Jackrabbits got it back. They were forced to foul, and Bauman rolled in a couple of clutch free throws there.
Well, when you get down to this level of play, it's you need a couple breaks here and there, and for their shots to fall short, like Baudette, he almost put in another one to tie it up, and Lane gets the fouls here, so he steps up and makes 2 free throws to give us a 5-point margin.
I thought Baudette was going to get that second one, too, and it was celebration time, and I think Coach is relieved. Oh, yeah, I think he's relieved as the Jackrabbits win it in overtime by 5 points, I guess, was the final score. And that set the stage for the second night of this tournament against a team that we really didn't know a whole lot about, the Denver University Pioneers.
Right. They come in, and we were able to put together a little bit of scouting report. Our kids made the adjustments they had to, and they had been in that experience into the finals before, and they were ready to go.
A trip to the national tournament is on the line, a lot of stuff on the line. And I know you were concerned with their size coming in. That's 7-foot Kelly Lively, we should say.
And the Sun kid there, right in there with the tip in. But we came right back. Pete Leiferman, our inside post players were strong and moving their feet well and got the job done.
Jeff Boer with that 3-point basket went over the 1,000-point mark in his career at South Dakota State.
Right, so he's put together an outstanding career here for us, no doubt about that.
There's Alex Sun with a baseline jump hook and the steal coming up here. I think really, though, the turning point of this game happened when you started to take their big men out of the game.
Right, they got into some foul trouble. Like I said, they're just a half step behind and coming over our backs and so on, and got called for the fouls in there and made them go to their bench early. Here we got that little play off that screen and roll again, turned the corner by Troy Bauman.
Beat him down the floor, too, as well. A couple of great fakes by Chris Counts, and he puts it in to score. The Jackrabbits were starting to come back and tied the game at 22 after Denver taking an early lead.
Well, we thought part of our game plan was to run the floor like Chris Counts did there, make their big guys get up and down the floor on us, too.
Vander Wettering put that basket back up and in, and Chris White going to drive all the way in and score. He had a sensational tournament, the MVP of this regional tournament. Jeff Boer did not make the all-tournament team. I were picking the team he would have, however.
He certainly deserved to be, but they only can pick 5, and to get representation from all the teams, he did not make it.
Denver played a little zone on you late in the half, and it didn't work out for him, did it?
We found the seams. That's a big bucket by Troy there just at the end of the 45-second clock.
Worked the high-low post extremely well. A good pass to Leiferman, who put it in easy. Got a lot of good chances at basket. Shot over 50% for the game.
And the Sims kid from Denver there hit the 3-point. They cut the margin to 11. That was the closest they got to us in the game.
Super pass by Boer to help set up Chris Counts. And now Boer will make yet another steal. Knocked it away, and so look how he stays with the play after it has it knocked away to Chris White, who scores.
Well, you know things are going your way when players can make the play. Just like this, you get the shot blocked, goes right back in our hands. We keep our composure, comes off the screen. Ryan Notches in the lineup again after being sick on Friday night.
In the hospital on Friday night with the flu. Came back. Chris White, again, the tourney's MVP, knocked down another 3. The big crowd at Frost Arena very happy about that. Great quick move on the baseline by Leiferman.
Good look in to freeze the defense, and then the spin move to the baseline. Boo with another steal, in for the layup, and that kind of took its toll on him.
It became a rout in the second half. Once the Jackrabbits got ahead, you just continued to increase that lead, and down the last 10 minutes of the game, Denver was never in it.
Right. Worked offense good. All players got in the scoring column here. We see Roger Campbell, doesn't see a lot of time. He stepped up, hit the 17-footer, finished up Mitch Lane with a layup here. And last point of the game, come off a little half-court desperation, but it fell a little bit short for him.
The final 87-57, obviously a very emotional time for Jim and the family, and for all the players. The Jackrabbits are going to the national tournament in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. Hasn't hit us yet, but I'm sure tomorrow I'll realize what we did and what we accomplished, and we're pretty happy about it.
Everyone just gave 100% this night, all out. You know, like we said Wednesday in practice, you know, there is no tomorrow now. You know, we got to let it all hang out right now, go after it, you know, there is no tomorrow, and everyone went by that, you know, went by that little slogan we made up right there and just came out, gave 110% everyone, you know, and took advantage of it.
Well, I think it was possible. You know, Massachusetts was a goal we set early in the year, you know, and like you said, 4 years ago when I started, you know, there's a lot of time put into it, a lot of hard work, and it's a good thing that it can pay off right at the end.
Chris White named the tournament's most valuable, very deservedly so. South Dakota State also represented by Corey Vanderwettering on the all-tournament team.
Very pleased to see Corey make that team, and of course Chris White had an outstanding tournament.
Also, Alex Sund of Denver, Dean Kessler of Salad, and Scott Dulseth of North Dakota also on the all-tournament team. And been very difficult for us to pick a player of the week. We're going to go with players of the week again this week with Chris White and Vanderwettering. Both made the all-tournament team, should be players of the week.
Well, Chris White being MVP of the scoring and the leadership that he's exhibited all through the season, and of course very deserving. And Corey Vanderwettering coming off the bench, the rebounding, the strength he's shown inside defensively, and then adding the scoring on top of that, also very deserving.
So congratulations to our 2 players of the week for this week.
Hi, I'm Ashley Lund. Stay tuned for the Jim Thorson Show.
The SDSU Foundation has been serving South Dakota State University with pride and purpose since 1945. Along with the SDSU Alumni Association, we are dedicated to serving the university. The SDSU Foundation seeks financial support to provide scholarships, professorships, and other important programs. Together, the Foundation, the Alumni Association, the community, and the university enhance the quality of life for a growing number of people. Contact the Foundation to learn how you may serve others by being a part of this important work.
Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University. We're partners in a community where the land meets the sky, a land of creative vision and spirit. Come to Brookings and South Dakota State, where heritage and progress walk hand in hand. We work together to make our home someplace special. Come to Brookings and South Dakota State University for the lifestyle you want to live.
On this week's Jackrabbit Profile, we'll meet 3 guys who work behind the scenes to help make the Jackrabbit basketball program a success. Guy Hunter from Fort Pierce, South Dakota, Galen Schoenenfeld from Rabillo, South Dakota, and Everett Johnson from Mangan, Oklahoma. Thanks for being on the program, guys. I want to find out exactly what it is you do. There are a lot of duties behind the scenes with the Jackrabbit program. Guy, how about you first? What do you do?
Well, a lot of it is just making sure the balls are out and all that stuff's there, and we have meetings with the coach beforehand of what he wants done during the practice and how it's supposed to be and what our focus is. And just basically help out and make sure everything's there and ready to go so it runs smoothly.
No, so you're a student assistant?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of stuff have you learned that you can take and use in your own program if you go out and coach?
That's the one thing I could never, the 2 years under Coach Thorson and Coach Nagin, the rest of the coaches is invaluable to me. I learned a lot on, you know, how to pick up the defense, offense, what to run, how to beat certain things. It's really been great.
Okay, Galen, what do you do for the Jackrabbit program?
Well, my main job is video man during the game, and then during practices, I'm just kind of a ball boy or run the shot clock or something like that.
I have this terrible nightmare of running video for a game and then going back to look at it and have there be nothing there. Do you have any horror stories like that?
Well, my first year, last year, there were a few times that I missed parts of the game, and that was kind of embarrassing, I guess. But this year, it's been real smooth so far.
You want to coach as well when you're done with school?
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
Any particular field? What's your major?
History is my major.
So you're going to be a history teacher and a high school basketball coach to start off with?
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Okay. Everett's from Oklahoma. First of all, how'd you get to South Dakota State from Mangan, Oklahoma?
Well, I knew that they had a really good program, and I decided that I wanted to be a basketball coach, and I want to be the best that I can be. And Coach Thorson, I heard about him and when I was in the Navy, and then I decided, well, if I'm going to be the best I can be, I'm going to go to a program that is the best and learn from the best.
What did you do in the Navy?
Well, I was a seaman in the Navy. I painted and kept things clean, kept the Navy going.
And what's your job with the Jackrabbits?
I had tried to help make sure practices run a little more smoothly, shot clock, ball boy kind of thing. And then during the game, keep stats, that kind of thing.
I know there's got to be the best and the worst part about the job that for each one of you guys. What's the best part of your job, guy?
Just the people. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I really think that we are a close-knit group, you know, and that's really fun. The worst, sometimes, you know, Coach Thorson's been lenient enough to let me go home on some breaks to be with the family and stuff, but the time away from my family.
Okay, how about you? What's the best part of your job?
Well, the best part, I guess, like Guy says, the people, and then I enjoy the games probably the best. I really get into it and stuff, you know.
You'd have to like travel too, obviously.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun traveling with the team. I got to know the guys real well and stuff, so it's been a lot of fun.
Everett, what's the one experience you're going to take that's going to help you the most when you go out to coach in high school?
The one experience I'm going to, probably last night's game. There was a lot of chances where we could have lost our cool, but Coach Thorson and the rest of the players, the team, you know, they just pulled together and became tighter, and nobody lost their cool, and we came out victorious.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. To Guy, Galen, and Everett, thanks very much, and best of luck as you go out and look for jobs in this market, I guess, and in your coaching careers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Dave Amber. Coming up on the Jim Thorson Show, highlights of the entire conference season of the Jackrabbits. Stay tuned. Jacks are #1.
No matter what sport or level of play, you can count on Daktronics scoreboards. Daktronics is an acknowledged world leader in scoring and timing systems for every kind of sport at every level of competition. At thousands of high schools and recreational facilities, Daktronics keeps the score. At 800 colleges in the United States, Daktronics keeps the score. Professional sports facilities and international events count on Daktronics. Call Daktronics today for more information on America's best scoreboards.
TV Productions is proud to produce The Jim Thorson Show. In addition to our broadcast programs such as this one, TV Productions produces television commercials for broadcast and cable, as well as video presentations for business and industry throughout the world. Our corporate image, product promotion, and other informational videos have won dozens of state, national, and international awards. Put your video production project on our shoulders. Contact TV Productions in South Dakota.
Well, Jim and I thought we'd do in this last segment of this program, maybe take a little nostalgic look back at the year that was. It was a fantastic season.
It was a great year in Jackrabbit history for our basketball, adding to the great tradition that has been established before.
It all started off with a 9-0 pre-conference season record. That's a great start to anything.
Right, and you always question if you're ready to play in the North Central. Well, we soon found out with the trip up to North Dakota.
Had to go to North Dakota the first weekend of the season. Lost at North Dakota on a very tough long shot at the end of the ball game, but then came back with a very big win at that time over North Dakota State.
Right, to earn the split up there, put us in good position. We sat in second place after that week.
Then came victories over UNO and Northern Colorado here.
Right, and kind of got on the win track there, got our confidence, and went to 3-1.
Then a victory over Augustana puts you at 4-1 and into first place in the North Central Conference.
UND came up with a loss there, and so we came out on first place after that weekend at Augustana.
And the highest national ranking achieved by the Jackrabbits following that win, you were up to third and promptly lost at home to North Dakota State. Those things happen during the course of any normal season.
Just didn't play very well, and North Dakota upset us, I guess you'd call it, down here in the Frost Arena.
And a huge weekend, as it turns out, that to get back on the winning track, to have to go to St. Cloud and then to Mankato to win both those games there, kind of set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yes, it did. It added to our confidence that we could go on the road, and we ended up with a better record of any team in the league.
Yeah, that's why you won the league, basically. It's then Morningside and the University of South Dakota came to town. You beat Morningside, but USD, a team that was peaking about that time of the year, came in and beat you at home and made it a very interesting conference race.
Right. USD kind of had our number this year. Every year you have some team that you just don't match up well, or the things that they do just cause problems with us, and USD was that team.
Ran into another hot team at Northern Colorado at the time, a team that was playing very well at home. You lost that game, the game the next night at Nebraska-Omaha, another one of those must games in the conference schedule.
Right. But as characteristic throughout this year, we bounced back great after that second loss there at UNC, and were able to get the road win and split again on the road.
Came home to a big crowd against Augustana, and that ball game, and that, again, you were in pretty good shape at that stage, right near the top of the conference pack.
Right, and went into that last 2 weeks of the season there and in first place, And with the big teams coming up, you know, St. Cloud was right on our heels. Mankato State was starting to make a move. UND, all those people.
And again, heading into the last weekend of the season, Jackrabbits knew that it had been one game to clinch a tie for the conference, 2 games to win the conference outright. We started it off with a very, very important victory at home against North Dakota. Went down to USD and lost, and again, talk about the pressure of the last game of the season at Morningside to win.
Well, it came down to the last thing, but we felt that was characteristic of this year's Cardiac Kids, and they put it together when they had to, and we came up with a win at Morningside, finished up with a 13-5 record in the league, and that was good enough to clinch the title outright.
Congratulations to Chris White, the NCC Player of the Year, a good chance to make the All-American team. Jeff Boer, Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, on all conference, academic All-American. Jim was the Coach of the Year. They broke the single-season attendance record. Chris White broke the single-season scoring record. A lot of good things happened.
Well, it's an outstanding group of players. All year was just paying attention to what we had to get done, and they were a pleasure to coach.
We'd like to thank folks who have sponsored this program throughout the course of the year. We want to remind you there will be no show next week, but hopefully we'll have a big show coming up in 2 weeks after the national tournament in Massachusetts.
Well, we're going to have a good time in Springfield and look forward to that opportunity, and I too want to thank all the sponsors for this show.
Once again, the City of Brookings, the SDSU Foundation, the Jackrabbit Club, Daktronics, 3M of Brookings, Perkins Family Restaurants, at TV Productions. We thank you very much, and stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 weeks. The 1991-92 basketball season, but really fittingly, it ends with a trip to the national tournament. And I know that you didn't win the national tournament. You lost in the first round. South Dakota State did. But you still had to be pleased, and the memories that this type of experience had will linger with you for a long time.
Well, they certainly will. Lifetime memories that were established by going to the national tournament. It's a great experience, and I'm really pleased our team had a chance to participate in that. The talk around there is that every team is a champion that goes in there, and there's always going to be that feeling of disappointment if you don't win some games, but yet we can't forget of all the other accomplishments we did get done this year.
We'll take a look at some of the things that the Jackrabbits were able to do outside of the actual basketball tournament itself a little bit later on in the program. But just briefly, I know that they have all kinds of things lined up for you to do during the course of the week you're in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Well, it's a great historical area around there, and we had a chance to take a look at some of those things like the Hall of Fame in basketball, and a trip into Boston to see the Freedom Trails and the Boston Gardens and things like that, and plus just the atmosphere around a national tournament like that that hopefully we'll be able to use for our experience in the future years.
First time Jackrabbits had been back to the National Division II tournament since 1985. But the other teams that were in there certainly were no strangers to this tournament.
No, they weren't. There was about half of them had been in there, like Cal State Bakersfield, Virginia Union. Some of those people have been in there about 3 years in a row. Bridgeport was back for the 3rd year in a row. So that makes a big difference, you know, going in there knowing what to expect and what's going to be transpiring.
What's the biggest learning experience that you had, your staff had, and the team had, looking back in retrospect now?
Well, I think first is in the preparation of your team to play, to sort out all the hype and all the extraneous activities that go on and concentrate on the game. And then secondly, to experience the type of competition, the level of play, the type of players, the style of basketball that is played, all will go into the experience.
It can be easy to get lost in the hoopla, can't it?
Yeah, it very quickly can happen, and particularly we had to sit there all day and watch the games and then play that last game and wait for the overtime game ahead of us. And a lot of things like that, you know, that can take their toll if you're not zeroed in on things.
Never met a coach yet who wouldn't rather play the first game of the day as opposed to the last.
Well, I thought of that many times, yeah, just to get in there and get it over with instead of sitting there and waiting and watching the players and the type of play and start, all it does is give more time to worry about things.
Let's check some of the scores. In fact, let's check all the scores from the Division II National Tournament. It started out with Virginia Union defeating Kentucky Wesleyan. Virginia Union had some Division I transfers. They were a salty bunch.
Big, strong team. You know, I don't know if we ever get to that type of player in this area of the country, although you still take 5 players, put them on the floor, and you got to score some baskets, and that's the way it works.
Cal State Bakersfield then beat Jacksonville State, second game.
Yeah, Jacksonville come in there ranked second in the nation, and Cal State Bakersfield had been beaten by Northern Colorado out of our league before Christmas and so on, but Cal State came on in the second half and ended up winning by 30.
Then the game directly preceding the state game, Bridgeport of Connecticut, great story. Last year as a school came in, won in overtime over Central Oklahoma in a wild one.
Well, Central Oklahoma, a big scoring machine, up and down the floor, basically let the defense go, and then Bridgeport, good solid team, like we said, with the tournament experience. Bridgeport jumped up in the lead. Central Oklahoma shot, they said, as poor as they had all year, but then they caught up to them and went into overtime, and Bridgeport still prevailed.
Then, of course, the South Dakota State score. You'll see highlights of this. California University of Pennsylvania over South Dakota State. Then on Friday night, Virginia Union continued on a roll, beating Cal State Bakersfield. Bridgeport defeated Cal Pennsylvania in the semis. That set up a great matchup between Virginia Union and Bridgeport, the last game they're ever going to play for a school, but it didn't quite have the Cinderella finish, did it?
No, Bridgeport, like they were on a destiny, or the destination was for a championship, the way they played and just the way the breaks went. But Virginia Union, too big and too strong in the final analysis there, and came up with a big win.
The women's national tournament was being played in Fargo, North Dakota this past weekend. Well, the Division II men were in Springfield, Massachusetts. North Dakota State came oh so close to a second straight national championship. First night, Delta State of Mississippi was a winner over previously unbeaten Bentley of Massachusetts. North Dakota State was also a relatively easy winner. Then came the championship night, playing at home in front of their home fans, North Dakota State losing by 2 points.
Right, I understand they had a great fan turnout up there, some around 7,000 fans, and turned around, and Delta State nipped them in the end by 2.
So our congratulations to Virginia Union and Delta State, the men's and women's National Division II champions for this year.
Hi, we're fans of Jackrabbit basketball. Game highlights are coming up on the Jim Thorson Show. Don't go away.
Discover Brookings and South Dakota State University, a community working together in research and development, joining technical innovation with educational excellence. Partners in progress for today and tomorrow. We're dedicated to bringing vision and strength to the birthplace of great business ideas. Look to Brookings and South Dakota State University, the spirit of success.
No matter what sport or level of play, you can count on Daktronics scoreboards. Daktronics is an acknowledged world leader in scoring and timing systems for every kind of sport at every level of competition. At thousands of high schools and recreational facilities, Daktronics keeps the score. At 800 colleges in the United States, Daktronics keeps the score. Professional sports facilities and international events count on Daktronics. Call Daktronics today for more information on America's best scoreboards.
The Jackrabbits' first-round opponent at the NCAA Division II tournament, California University of Pennsylvania. I guess we knew going in they had to be good. They were top-ranked in the country. They'd won 28 straight games, and they turned out to be all of that, didn't they?
They were very quick is a big thing, and we needed to pick up the pace of our game up to match that quickness, and we really didn't get it done, and that first half kind of dug ourselves a hole.
They also have an outstanding player by the name of Kenny Toomer, like Chris White, a second-team All-American, and here's a good example. Right off the bat, pops one from out front.
We decided we'd give him a little room, try to protect the inside, and he just backs up and hits a three-pointer. The other inside player, Jim Kirkland, came down off a steal here and goes in and dunks it, which gives them a big run right to start with.
The Jackrabbits All-American Chris White helped keep you in the ball game early.
Well, he got through the whole game, really. He did a lot of scoring. He had 30 points here. Pete Leiferman posts up inside. So we were close right there. We just quite couldn't muster up the consistency that we needed full 40 minutes of basketball.
Jeff Boer hits the three-pointer from the outside. Then watch the defensive play. Now, that's a nice defensive play no matter what level you're playing at. James Kirkland on the block.
This is what we're talking about. We had a good position in there, had the ball for an easy layup, and they just come across the lane there and knocked it out of there.
Good example, though, again, you work it inside to Jeff Boer. He's got the strength to bank in the turnaround shot.
Yep, stay with it. Here again, the quick hands of Kenny Toomer pops it out of Corey Vandewetering's hands, but Jeff Boer heads up on the play, gets down there, and gets the steal right back for himself.
Working hard on the defensive end of the floor. Here's one where you force him to take a timeout.
Well, here again, we thought our defense was pretty good and so on, but offensively, I think we just couldn't get on track and get some points. And this started the big run right here. They got the steal and go down, and Jeff Boer got the block, and Toomer hit the 2 free throws. Here they get a steal off an entry pass and go to Toomer for the dunk. And then they come right back on a third turnover here in possession, and Gutierrez steps out for a three-point run and put them up by 13.
Yeah, then Chris White made the steal down at the other end. As the ball's knocked around a little bit, we'll have a little showtime here, a little coast-to-coast jam time.
Well, we came right back, but the way it turned out at that run, of 7-0 run there, really made a difference in the whole game.
You went to a zone then at this stage of the ball game.
Well, we thought that they were a little suspect outside shooting other than Gutierrez. And here Mitch Lane pulls down a big rebound. He led us in rebounds with 7 on the night. And Troy Bauman sees a little opening here, takes it to the hole, which is the type of play we needed.
We're not going to see it on the highlights, but a little controversy at the end of the first half about a tip-in free throw.
Right there, the refs called it a violation on the free throw for 1 point. Everybody else in the building saw it as a tip-in for us for 2, so there was a little discrepancy on the halftime score.
Anyway, down by 11 at halftime. Troy Bauman came back and scored. Chris White will miss, but Boer will rebound and score. And you made a little bit of run at the start of the second half.
Well, there's a whole different attitude on the floor right here. We're playing so much more confident. We're taking the ball at them like Chris Counts did here on the inside. Nice little move into the middle. And it was a different ball game. We came out and played the way we wanted to, and for the most part, pretty well even.
Chris White on the drive. He'll get the basket and be fouled. He ended the night with 30 points.
A great night for him in the term. He did everything he could, I think, to try to pull things out for us.
Now, you're playing great D in this stretch, but whoops, there's Kenny Toomer. Yeah. Somebody forgot about him.
Just left him alone and hit another three-pointer. That's kind of the story of the game also, in that we would make good runs like this, and then we'd get the game close, but they just had enough cushion to hold us off.
Some good Jackrabbit fans made the trip, too.
Well, yeah, we figured we had over 200 people there. We had as big a contingency as any other team there, which I think points well to the support that we have here at South Dakota State.
And again, trying to turn the defense up. You get the job done on this trip. You make the 10-second violation work against them. But then, guess who?
Yeah, Mr. Toomer again, and he comes right back with a little turnaround, makes the three-point play out of it.
He had 35 points on the night. You had the lead cut down, I believe, on this basket down to 5 points.
Yeah, Vandewettering, good pass, good fine outlet there to Ryan Notches, who hits the 3. And again, we stay within that 5-point, 4-point range several times during that half.
Nice job here by Pete Leiferman to draw the charge against Kenny Toomer.
Well, like I said, I thought our defense played well enough to win the ball game. We just missed too many little shots offensively.
Jeff Boer in his final game, as it turned out with the Jackrabbits, had 11 points. It was down to a 66-59 game. White makes a tough shot there, extremely difficult.
Up in his face, and here he takes another one in, a little roller across the middle, and gets fouled for a 3-point play here. We just kept in there at that 4- or 5-point range.
You know, watching the ball game, you get the feeling if you get a big basket, one place or another during the course down that stretch run, you can win that ball game.
Right, and here again, Corey Vandewettering got up aggressive in the rebounds, comes down the floor, makes the 2 free throws, again to hold us tight. But We just couldn't get over the hump. A couple free throws, those kind of things.
Chris White makes the three-point basket. He's fouled, makes the free throw. It's a 4-point game, 74-70.
Right, and with about, 3:39 left on the board here, plenty of time. We felt pretty good at this point. But we, again, could not get over the hump. Now we're down to about a minute to go here. We had fouled Kirkland. We thought he was their poor free throw shooter, but he stepped up and made about 4 of them in that last minute.
Yeah, playing the percentages didn't quite work out. Mitch Lane with a basket there.
That ended up being our last field goal of the game with about a minute to go. Finished up Shannon Dana and Roger Campbell in a game here. Shannon with the last shot of the game. Ball falls into Toomer's hands, and that was the end.
84-73 the final. You lose in the first round of the national tournament. What type of things do you take from this experience and apply it to future Jackrabbit basketball games?
Well, I think overall the preparation for that first game, just the mental attitude of going into that game, we would be so much better off another time if we should have that opportunity. And then it was very interesting to watch the other teams, the players, the physical skills of the players, and then the style of play. I found a lot of Eastern, Southern teams, a lot of zone defenses, which I was surprised.
Things vary that much from region to region around the country.
Well, it really seems to. They get such big, strong players, and the quickness factor that we do not see around this area.
Jackrabbits will lose 3 seniors off this year's basketball team, but certainly this national tournament was a great learning experience for the underclassmen.
I felt, you know, the second half we played really well. And the first half, we dug ourselves a pretty big hole, and, you know, it was tough to, you know, come from an 11-point deficit at halftime and, you know, just come out and play. But we did, and at times we cut it to 3 points. We had a shot at, you know, cutting it to 1 point, and couldn't do it. But, you know, I felt we played real well the second half, but not the first, you know.
I think it was a great learning experience for myself, being a redshirt and getting to come here and experience all the hype and the tension of the big games, and experience for the following 4 years what it's going to be like if we make it here to Springfield.
I hope to come back here. I think that's the big thing, is that the younger guys who came out and got their feet wet, our goal for next year is to come back.
One more time, it's time to select this week's 3M Player of the Week. The 3M Player of the Year for South Dakota State, for the North Central Conference. The second-team All-American, had a great national championship tournament game as well. Chris White.
Chris White for the 3M Player of the Week this week, and to finish things up, outstanding player, obviously. I know he would say he's only as good as his teammates, which is certainly true, but he certainly earned the credit.
We mentioned he was a second-team All-American. He was also ended up 6th in only 2 years of playing on South Dakota State's all-time scoring list.
Right, he put in a lot of points. I think he opened up his career here with a 33-point game and finished up in the national tournament with a 30-point game, just to be indicative of his ability.
Well, I guess all we can say is, Chris, we'll miss you.
Hi, I'm Bill Matthews. Stay tuned for more of the Jim Thorson Show.
Jack is cooking Eggs Benedict for Mary on their honeymoon.
Nothing.
How romantic.
Where's the switch for the, ow?
Honey?
Pity they don't know about Perkins, for not only does Perkins serve a classic Eggs Benedict, but a host of other varieties as well. Eggs Benedict at Perkins.
Honey, isn't hollandaise sauce supposed to be yellow? Not that I mind. Green is very creative.
TV Productions is proud to produce The Jim Thorson Show. In addition to our broadcast programs such as this one, TV Productions produces television commercials for broadcast and cable, as well as video presentations for business and industry throughout the world. Our corporate image, product promotion, and other informational videos have won dozens of state, national, and international awards. Put your video production project on our shoulders. Contact TV Productions, Brookings, South Dakota.
Experience academic excellence in a personal atmosphere. South Dakota State is a mid-sized university that offers enormous academic, cultural, social, and recreational opportunities. Choose from a large selection of diverse courses and enjoy the city's parks and recreation areas. Industry thrives in Brookings, and local businesses often provide students with part-time work that matches interests. Visit our campus. The friendly atmosphere of the university and the Brookings community will quickly make you feel at home.
Certainly one of the great things about having the Division II tournament in Springfield, Massachusetts is that it's the cradle of basketball, the home of basketball. And Jim, this is the 100th year for the anniversary of basketball, a chance for the players to go see the Basketball Hall of Fame and experience that.
Right. That opening, our first night in Springfield on Tuesday evening, they had a player reception for the official party and the players, and they had a chance to go through that and see a lot of interesting things.
Well, if you've never been to Basketball's Hall of Fame, here's a chance to take a look. Mari Larson has the story.
Basketball fans trek clear across the country to Springfield, Massachusetts for the sole purpose of seeing the Basketball Hall of Fame. The museum's executive director, Joe O'Brien, believes that the Hall of Fame's popularity stems from its representation of every level of the game of basketball, from high school to college to pro to international basketball.
We see our role as twofold. First and foremost as a preserver of the history of the game, and secondly as a promoter of the modern game at every level. As you visit the facility, you'll see that our architects have used modern technology and hands-on opportunities to literally bring the game to life.
Hall of Fame was originally located at Springfield College as a dedication to its professor and the creator of basketball, Dr. James Naismith. In 1985, the Hall of Fame moved to its current facility because the number of visitors on average exceeded 40,000 a year. O'Brien said the move was phenomenal, as more than 150,000 visitors will have passed through the museum's doors during the past year. According to O'Brien, the most popular part of the museum is the shootout area.
Literally, the shootout area is a moving walk with 15 baskets at various heights and distances, and it has a bowling ball kind of delivery system, and you get an opportunity to go swish and to have that feel of the very essence of the game that the Bill Bradleys have had, or the Wilt Chamberlains have had, or the Larry Birds have today.
The memorabilia that adorns the walls is another attempt to bring the game to life.
From Kareem's goggles to the ball that Ricky Green shot for the NBA's 5 millionth point, to Larry Bird's recent 20,000th point, to Don Nelson's recent game where he had just competed in his 2,500th NBA contest. So we'd have scorebooks, pictures, basketballs, uniforms, whatever the case might be. And we try as much as possible to make it a little bit diverse so that you don't see the same kind of display for each and every level of the game.
O'Brien says that the museum is most proud of the fact that they never pay for memorabilia.
In truth, we have a full-time curator, and along with our historian in the library, we're all tuned in to the sports page and to the video shows, and we try to stay up with the modern game. And if there's a historic event coming up, we try to make sure that we're there and that they give us the basketball, or they give us some kind of a memento of that particular occasion.
Most of the displays are permanent, but O'Brien says that they try to rotate various exhibits. The history of the Olympic teams is one exhibit which the Jackrabbits found particularly interesting.
Probably the neatest part about it is seeing Chris Counts' dad in the '64 Olympic picture in the Hall of Fame.
This year marks the 100th anniversary of basketball. The celebration has become a worldwide event as 176 nations play the game of basketball. For the past 18 months, the Hall of Fame has celebrated with a series of events, beginning with the unveiling of a U.S. postage stamp. The celebration will end at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. As the interest in basketball grows, the Hall of Fame may continue to expand to additional facilities. This is Mari Larson reporting for the Jim Thorson Show.
Throughout the course of this program during the year, we have introduced you to the Jackrabbit basketball players, and when we return, you'll meet Mom and Dad. That's next as the Jim Thorson Show continues.
The SDSU Foundation has been serving South Dakota State University with pride and purpose since 1945. Along with the SDSU Alumni Association, we are dedicated to serving the university. The SDSU Foundation seeks financial support to provide scholarships, professorships, and other important programs. Together, the Foundation, the Alumni Association, the community, and the university enhance the quality of life for a growing number of people. Contact the Foundation to learn how you may serve others by being a part of this important work.
Become a part of South Dakota State. Our university and Brookings community provides students with a relaxed, friendly environment while offering vast academic, social, cultural, and recreational opportunities.
Choose from over 2,500 courses and join any of the 170 organizations and clubs. Brookings is ideal for those who love the outdoors. Delight in the 14 city parks and recreation areas, including swimming pools, tennis courts, golf courses, and an ice arena.
Visit our campus and community. We think you'll like what you see.
As this program draws to a close, there are a lot of people we would like to give some thanks to. And at the top of that list are the players' parents of the Jackrabbits. Mari Larson introduces us to some this weekend who had a very good time in Springfield.
Shannon Dana's father, Dr. Mick Dana, drove from Spearfish to Sioux Falls to do something he's never done before.
It's my first airplane trip, so I'm amazed at myself.
What did you think about the airplane?
I'm glad it stayed in the air, and I'm glad it landed when it was supposed to. It's kind of exciting.
The tournament reunited Mitch Lane with his parents, who flew to Massachusetts from England. Mitch's father is an employee of U.S. West in England, which is where they'll live for the next 2 years.
We keep in touch with this team pretty well and talk to Mitch all the time, and we are able to listen to some of the games because through the late-night phone rates, it's rather inexpensive. It's not inexpensive, but it's cheaper than it is during the daytime. We're able to call the radio station, and they put us on hold, and we were able to hear maybe half of a couple of games.
SDSU head athletic trainer Jim Boer was fortunate to work with his son Jeff, so he is able to see all of the games. Yet Boer says it's hard to believe that his son's collegiate athletic career has ended.
First of all, that it went very fast. When we looked ahead and our son would be here for 4 years, it seemed like a long time. And it went extremely fast, and way too fast, as a matter of fact, now that it's all over. Obviously, it ended very well, and he had a great career, and we're extremely proud of him.
That pride was evident in the eyes of all the players' parents. Perhaps Mick Dana summed it up best when he said the tournament weekend was a dream come true.
It's just incredible. You know, it's hard to explain in words because to top it off, it would have been nice if they'd still be in the tournament, but still it's an unbelievable accomplishment, something they'll always remember, and so will I.
Well, Jim, I know you appreciate the support of all the facets of the program, the players, the alumni. There's a lot of things that go into a well-rounded basketball program.
Well, certainly at the top of this is the parent support. They entrust us with their prized possessions. They're their sons, and we hope that we do a good job with them, and certainly appreciate their following us around all year.
And you mentioned there was good alumni support. A lot of them traveled out to see the national tournament.
Well, we got them all over, we find out, and had a great turnout in Springfield.
Okay, let's meet some of those alumni who had the time in Massachusetts.
It's nice to see everybody back. A lot of the people that are here were classmates or teammates or people that, worked in equipment. Bill Lindsay, Jim Boer, those guys were all around when I was playing at South Dakota State. It's great to see them here. It's nice to see the SDSU teams do so well this year, both football and basketball. It's a nice opportunity, since I'm so far away, to see one of the teams compete.
South Dakota State got me ready to be able to expand my horizons. My professors taught me to challenge myself. They taught me to go for the higher goal, to always strive for the next level up. And that's the thing that I always want to challenge anybody that will listen to this or hear us. Go to college, go to a university where you get a broad range of backgrounds and a broad range of experiences. South Dakota State prepared me for my life.
While we look back on this season, we also look ahead, Jim, to the coming years of Jackrabbit basketball. What are the recruiting needs? What are you looking for?
Well, I think the primary needs right now are to replace the two guards, Jeff Boer and Chris White. We recruited a fine young post player in the early signing. I think we're solid there for a number of years.
And again, a lot of things point to outstanding things in the future for the Jackrabbit basketball program.
I think we got a great nucleus returning, and with this experience, we'll be looking forward to next year.
We'd certainly like to remind you about all the athletic camps coming up at South Dakota State this summer. Again, we've talked about it during the course of the show. A little bit of something for everybody here.
Right, and encourage them to come to our basketball camps and take a look at Frost Arena and have a great time.
And we'd certainly like to thank the people who have made this program possible throughout the course of the year, especially the Larson Manufacturing and the Brookings Convention and Visitors Bureau for making this last show possible. Also to the City of Brookings, the State Foundation, the Jackrabbit Club, Daktronics of Brookings, 3M of Brookings, Perkins Family Restaurants and TV Productions. And finally, congratulations on an outstanding year. We'll see you again next year.
It's been very enjoyable, and I thank you very much, Tom.
And thanks for for joining us throughout the course of the Jim Thorson Show. We'll see you again next year.
The Jim Thorson Show has been brought to you by Larson Manufacturing, the Storm Door Company, the City of Brookings, South Dakota State University Foundation, and Brookings Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Jackrabbit Club, Daktronics, 3M of Brookings, Perkins Family Restaurants, and TV Productions Incorporated of Brookings.